This is TOS Television, your digital first fan African news network. I'm Adesu Alsuyi, and this is Africa Now. Ethiopia has announced that Eritrean forces have started withdrawing from Ethiopia's conflict-hit Tigray region in the north after fighting on the government side in a war against the region's fugitive leaders from the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF. The United States, Germany, France and other G7 countries called on Friday for a swift, unconditional and verifiable withdrawal of the Eritrean soldiers, followed by a political process that is acceptable to all Ethiopians. Ethiopia's foreign ministry announced the withdrawal, but in a rejoinder issued late on Saturday, it said the G7 foreign minister's statement had not acknowledged key steps being taken to address the needs of the region. It is not clear how many Eritrean soldiers have left. Some in Tigray assert that the Eritreans are not leaving at all. The region's leaders have charged that Eritrean troops, are sometimes dressed in Ethiopian military uniforms. Still in Ethiopia, around 2.1 million people in Ethiopia's eastern Somali regional state is in need of humanitarian assistance. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs disclosed this in a bi-weekly humanitarian bulletin report on Sunday. UNOCHA disclosed the drying up of traditional water sources as well as the availability of all limited functional water boreholes in the drought-affected areas, and various food and non-food humanitarian assistance needs to be met. At least $65.5 million is required to cover all identified needs, the UNOCHA disclosed. Conflict, drought and seasonal floods have contributed to internal displacement in Ethiopia's Somali regional state and elsewhere. The humanitarian needs in the country have also been exacerbated by the outbreak of the COVID-19 disease. President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, Felix Tshisekedi, has urged the foreign ministers of Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan to make a fresh start. He made this statement on Sunday in a meeting that concludes Monday over Addis Ababa's contested Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam on the Blue Nile. The human dimension must be at the heart of this tripartite negotiation, he added. The Nile, the world's longest river, is a lifeline supplying both water and electricity to the 10 countries it crosses. Upstream, Ethiopia says hydroelectric power produced by the GARD will be vital to meet the energy needs of its 110 million people. Egypt, which depends on the Nile for about 97% of its irrigation and drinking water, sees the dam as an existential threat. Sudan, downstream, fears its own dams will be compromised, if Ethiopia proceeds with filling the GARD before a deal is reached. Still on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Egypt, in a statement on Sunday, said the latest meeting between Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia may be the last chance to relaunch talks before it is filled for the second year in a row. These negotiations represent the final opportunity the three countries must seize in order to reach an agreement before the upcoming flood season. Egypt's foreign minister said in a statement. Last week, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said there will be inconceivable instability in the region if Egypt's water supply were affected by the dam. In a separate statement, Sudan said Ethiopia had raised the stakes in the negotiations by seeking to reopen discussions on the distribution of Nile water. Libya has received the first shipment of more than 100,000 doses of Russia's Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine arrived at Tripoli's Mitiga airport on Sunday. This was announced by the Ministry of Health. Interim Prime Minister Abdulhamid Dbeibeh in a tweet said the vaccine is the first drop of the rain. The rest of the shipments will arrive in succession, he added, without giving details of how many more doses were due. Around 1,000 new infections are announced daily by the National Center for Disease Control, posing a challenge to a health sector ravaged by years of conflict. Libya has recorded almost 200,000 infections since the outbreak of the pandemic and 2,684 deaths, according to the latest data from the Diseases Center. This is TOS Television, your digital first African news network. You're watching Africa Now. Up next, stories from Angola, Zimbabwe, business and sports. After the break, do stay tuned. Welcome back. On April 4, 2002, the Angolan government and the main opposition party, UNITA, put an end to 27 years of war with the signing of the Peace and National Reconciliation Agreement. 19 years of peace and the end of long armed conflict was marked on Sunday with a national public holiday celebrated across the country. The main event took place in Cambida province and was led by the Vice President, Angola, Bonito de Sousa. In his address to the Angolan people, he said peace is certainly the greatest achievement of the Angolan people after independence. After long years of destruction of lives and economic and social infrastructure, the diversion of thousands of young people from promoting the construction and development of Angola, he added that the Angolans value the benefits of peace and political and social stability. Zimbabwe is now on course to rejoin the Commonwealth of Nations. The country is already in the second stage of the application process. This began in May 2018 when President Mnangagwa wrote to the Commonwealth Secretary General expressing Zimbabwe's willingness to return to the group after nearly 2 decades of estrangement. The Commonwealth initiated a 4-step process to assess Zimbabwe's suitability to regain its membership. Constance Chemwai, spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, confirmed that Zimbabwe was still in the second stage of the application process, where the Secretary General will consult member states on the way forward. The laid-down procedure that govern readmission into the Commonwealth include an informal assessment followed by the consultation process. Zimbabwe, she said, still remained focused on mending relations. It's envisaged that rejoining the Commonwealth will fast-track the resolution and ratification of the outstanding bilateral investment promotion and protection agreement (BIPA), as well as launch bids to host internationally accredited global events and conferences. Zimbabwe withdrew from the Commonwealth in 2003 at the height of tension between Harare and London over the land reform program. In business, Kenya public debt has increased by more than 1 trillion Kenya shillings after the government received the first installment of the latest 257 billion Kenya shillings loan from the International Monetary Fund last week. In the 8th month between March and November last year, Kenya had increased its stock of public debt by 971 billion Kenya shillings under the cover of fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. This translates to about 121 billion Kenya shillings every month, a sharp rise compared to the 71 billion Kenya shillings the country was borrowing per month on average before coronavirus hit the country. The National Treasury had defended the excessive borrowing on shrinking revenues in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. To sports, the World Half Marathon record on Sunday has been smashed by 26-year-old Kenya Ruth Chepngetich, clocking a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 2 seconds at the Istanbul Half Marathon to shave 29 seconds off the previous mark. The world record is something I have been dreaming about for some time, and I'm so happy to do it on the streets of Istanbul. I'm really happy for this amazing result. Istanbul is my city. I love running here, said Chepngetich, who also won the Istanbul Marathon in 2017 and 2018. Kenyan Helen Obiri, a 2-time world 5,000-meter champion, finished third in 1 hour, 4 minutes and 51 seconds, the fastest debut half marathon in history, to mark the first time 3 women had finished inside 65 minutes in one half marathon. Kibiwott Kandi of Kenya also won the men's race in 59 minutes 35 seconds. Raja Club Athletic defeated Pyramids in Casablanca 2-0 as the Moroccan side cemented their hold-up top spot in Group D. This was earned by an own goal from goalkeeper Sherif Ekrami and Ben Malango. Raja have moved to 9 points from the 3 matches, retaining their 100 points record, while Pyramids, who went all the way to the final in their debut campaign last season, were handed their first loss of the group phase. The home side wrapped up the victory in the opening 23 minutes. 7 minutes later, the home side was 2-0 up when Malango struck a superb goal from inside the box on the volley. And that is Africa Now. For more updates, do visit our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. Do also follow and like our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Do stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS Television Network. My name is Adesu Aosuyi. Thank you for watching.